Hi, I'm Katie Farrell with Dashing Dish, and at Dashing Dish, I'm all about teaching you how to create healthy alternatives to the food you crave. Today, I'm going to show you how to make a really quick and healthy 30-minute meal. It's called 3 cheese stuffed chicken peppers, and this is kind of a spin on maybe like a shell recipe where you use shells and you stuff them. And I think we all can remember that from childhood. My mom always made stuffed shells. So really, stuffed shells are not horrible for you, but I'm going to show you a healthier way to make them today. And really, the key component here to make them a little bit healthier is using red peppers instead of the pasta shells. So there's a lot of great options for healthier pasta these days, but one of my favorite things to do is just take out the pasta altogether and replace it with a vegetable. So here we have red bell peppers, and I just took 3 of them and cut them straight in half lengthwise and then removed the stem and the seed. So you just cut them in half and then take all the seeds out and discard those. Then I have a cup of chicken here, and you can use rotisserie chicken. You can throw some chicken breasts in the crock pot with a little bit of chicken broth and just shred up the chicken and then add it to your recipe. That's a quick way to get some shredded chicken. So I have 1 cup of shredded chicken that I'm going to add to the bowl here. And you could do this with lean ground beef or ground turkey, but I like using shredded chicken just because it puts a different spin on this recipe. Instead of the ricotta cheese, which is high in fat and calories, I'm going to use cottage cheese. And if you don't like cottage cheese, don't let that turn you off. You won't even know what's in there. In fact, it tastes so similar to ricotta cheese in the recipe that you would never know. And oftentimes, I just don't tell my family. I don't tell my husband, who eats like a picky 2-year-old, hey, that's cottage cheese in the recipe. I just, serve it to him and say, what do you think? And oftentimes, he loves it. So then I'm going to put some Parmesan cheese. This is a 4th cup going in. And Parmesan cheese is a great cheese to use because it adds a lot of flavor. It packs a lot of flavor with not as many calories. So 4th cup of Parmesan cheese. And then I'm going to do a little bit of Greek yogurt. And this just helps add a little bit of creaminess. But you could also just do a little bit more cottage cheese. I'm going to do 3 tablespoons. So almost a 4th cup. And then for my seasonings, I like to add a lot of seasoning to food because it adds flavor without adding calories or fat or anything else. So I'm going to do some garlic powder, and that's a ½ teaspoon of garlic powder. And then I'm going to do 1 teaspoon of Italian seasoning. And that's really just a blend of oregano and basil. So Italian seasoning is a great one to have on hand because it kind of combines a few different seasonings in one. And then just a pinch of salt and pepper. And then I'm going to do, I have a 3/4 cup of mozzarella cheese here. And I'm going to do almost all of it, well, I'll say about a half, into the filling. And then the rest will sprinkle on top. I'm going to give this a quick stir. And it'll form kind of a nice creamy filling for these bell peppers. And what we're going to do next is kind of something that's a little more traditional for a stuffed shell recipe, which is we take a baking dish, and you can see here I have it lined with foil. That's just for easy cleanup, but you could just spray a 9x13 baking dish. You don't have to add the foil. And then I'm going to take a cup of sauce, and you can use your favorite spaghetti sauce. You can use a pizza sauce. You can use any kind of tomato sauce. And I just put that down in the bottom of the pan. And I'm going to kind of spread it out here with a spoon. And that kind of gives it the feel of stuffed shells when we put our peppers down in there. So I'm going to take a pepper and I'm going to fill it with this filling. Now, if you wanted it to just be a quick and easy way to sort of measure out the filling and make sure you're evenly dividing it among the peppers, you can always use a measuring cup to fill it as well. So I just put the peppers down in there and continue on until they're completely filled. I'll do a few more here just to kind of show you. And this filling is absolutely delicious. It ends up tasting really creamy, cheesy. It's a great way to have dinner on the table in less than 30 minutes because you saw how easy that was, especially when you start with pre-cooked and shredded chicken. That cuts really your recipe time in half. So I always like to have a rotisserie chicken in the fridge just to throw into a recipe real quick. So here we have a few more. And then I would just finish up with the last two. Now, just to show you how to finish these off, I'm going to add 1 more cup of, again, your favorite spaghetti sauce, tomato sauce, pizza sauce, whatever you have on hand, and just kind of pour it evenly over the tops. And again, that makes it more like a stuffed shell. And then we're going to take the rest of the cheese here and top it off. And these are so delicious. They're only 150 calories per pepper. So, and they pack a lot of protein. If you have a gluten intolerance, wheat intolerance, you know, you don't even have to worry about it because there's no pasta in these. And then you bake these 375 for about 30 to 35 minutes, and dinner is on the table. And you can see here's the finished product, and they turn out absolutely wonderful, delicious, cheesy Italian goodness there. You can even top it with a little bit more sauce if you'd like, and serve it like that. If you would like this recipe or more just like it, you can head over to ctvn.org.